This show is produced by the Harwood Podcast Network.
Hi, I'm Cindy Harris, and we love making this show available to you free of charge. If you'd like to help us keep it that way, make a contribution to our Karma Jar or become a show sponsor. To learn more, visit our website. Today I'm making a batch of peanut butter fudge daisies. I recently got an email from one of my VFFs, Jasmine. Well, she lives in Australia and this month she's turning 14. She asked if I could come up with a recipe that she and her friends could make when they came over to celebrate. But Jasmine doesn't eat chocolate or anything with gluten, so I thought, what could I make that's sweet and delicious? Well, how about fudge? Fudge is a great candy to know how to make, and these peanut butter fudge daisies are wonderful. We're going to start by getting our pan ready. Now, I'm using a 1/4 sheet pan, and this is a 9 by 12 rimmed baking sheet. You could also use a 9 by 13 if you'd like. And to be able to get this fudge out easily, we are going to make a parchment sleeve. So let me show you how I do that. I get a full sheet of parchment and then I fold it so it's just a little bit smaller than the width of the pan. Then I'm going to take it, I'm going to crease that really well, and I have a very sharp little paring knife, and I'm going to take and just run that along the crease so that cuts that. I do save this little piece because sometimes that comes in handy for other things. So when I do put the sheet in here, see, it fits in the bottom perfectly. Now I want to spray my pan, so I'm going to take the parchment out. I'm going to give it a nice spritz along all of the edges and the bottom. Then I'll place my parchment down in the bottom, making sure that I then crease it on the outer edges here. And then I'll just give that a quick spray as well. Now our pan is ready. I'm just going to set that aside. Next, you're going to want to get out a large mixing bowl. And in that, we're going to measure out 3 cups of powdered sugar. And then I'm going to set this aside. Then you'll want to get out a medium-sized saucepan and 1/2 cup of butter. Now when I'm melting butter, I do like to cut it into smaller pieces, much like I do when I'm creaming it, because I find that it melts a lot more evenly. So I'm going to pop that into my pan. And before we go over to the stove to melt this, it's really important that we get our other ingredients ready. So I'm going to measure out 2 cups of brown sugar, and you can see I'm using my giant 2-cup measuring cup. You could measure it out into a bowl if you would like. Now remember, with brown sugar, you want to fill up your cup, and then you do want to press it down, lightly packing it into the measuring cup. That's how we measure brown sugar. Got a 1/2 cup of milk. Now I'm using a 1% milk, but you could use whatever you have on hand. And next I'm going to measure out a cup of peanut butter. Now you've seen me use my adjustable cup before. This is great for when you're measuring out really sticky things like peanut butter. All you have to do is look along the side, find the cup, measuring side, pull it down to 1 cup, and then I fill this up with peanut butter. Now you do want to make sure that you've packed it into the measuring cup. Sometimes it leaves some little air bubbles. And then double check to make sure that it's still at the 1 cup mark. My last ingredient is a teaspoon of vanilla, and now we're going to head over to the stove. Now I'm putting my pan on a medium heat, and with my heat-proof spatula, I'm going to start melting that butter. Now once the butter's melted, I'm going to immediately add my brown sugar and my milk. And I'm going to stir that together, and I want to bring this to a boil. And once it starts boiling like this, I want to keep stirring it and put the timer on for 2 minutes. I'm going to bring this off the heat, carefully put my peanut butter and my vanilla in, and then I'm going to mix this up. Now you want to be very careful because that sugar mixture is really hot. I'm going to pour that right into the powdered sugar and start mixing it together. And I just keep stirring. Now as I stir, that peanut butter and sugar mixture is going to dissolve that powdered sugar, so it's going to get nice and smooth. Now I use sort of the back of my spatula to kind of keep pressing the powdered sugar in, because when I'm done here I shouldn't see any of that white sugar. Now it's time to take the fudge and put it out in my pan, and with the back of the spatula I'm going to press it out. Now we're looking for a nice even layer of fudge, and then to get a nice smooth top I take just a sandwich bag, a plastic one, and I put it in my hand and I just press that. The fudge is warm but it's not burning me. But that just helps me kind of press that out even more. Now I need to let the fudge set. Now the fudge has been cooling for about 10 minutes. It's not room temperature, but it is stiffened up enough to where we can start cutting it. So I'm going to move it over to the side, and with the handles I'm going to lift it right out of the pan and set it on my cutting board. Now off to the side I have a baking sheet and a piece of parchment. After I cut the fudge, that's where I'm going to place it to have it cool the rest of the way. Now I found a little Daisy cookie cutter at the craft store, and I'm going to take and I'm going to press it right into the fudge. And just like I was making cutout cookies, I can take my little spatula and then place it right on my baking sheet. So I'm going to go ahead and keep cutting fudge daisies. Now once you get them all transferred onto the baking sheet, don't throw these little remnants away. They're really, really good. In fact, I'm just going to let them sit here and cool the rest of the way, and then I'll break them up and put them in a little container, and they're wonderful on ice cream. Now I'm going to make the little centers that I'm going to fill with jam. So I've just got my little melon baller, and I'm going to take it and I'm just going to sort of jiggle it into the center of each of the daisies, making just a little well. And you want to do this while the fudge is still warm and pliable. Next, I filled a pastry bag and used my number 12 tip, and I'm going to pipe some of my raspberry freezer jam into the center of the daisies. Now you could use any kind of jam that you would like. And also, if you'd like to know more about how to set up your pastry bag and about the different tips you can use, don't forget to check out my Cake Decorating 101 Premium podcast. That's a really good tutorial on how to get started with cake decorating. You can see that the different techniques come in handy for lots of different things that we do in the kitchen. Now for just a quick taste, this fudge is really creamy, has great peanut butter flavor, and that little bit of jam is a great surprise. Well, I think Jasmine and her friends will have a lot of fun making these peanut butter fudge daisies at her birthday. If you'd like to try them at home, just go to our website and go to the Sweet World show notes, and I'll have the recipe there for you. If you do make them, make sure to send me a photo so I can send you the brand new candy badge. Don't forget to join us on Facebook. That's where I do all my vlogging. And as always, if you have any ideas or questions for me, please send me an email. Happy birthday, Jasmine, and I'll see y'all next time.